You came and you paid, surveyed the property you made, put in an offer you didn't have to say. I got it made for real, it's been like God in here. Bitch got that grace appeal, they stick with annoying what else am I supposed to feel? Won't you come in, put your feet up, how you waiting here? Let me back up while you do you, I'm on NFL. Check my feng shui, I can rearrange, that's a chandelier. Get a show ready where you set it up, it's a grand premiere.
The girl talking gotta make them feel I'm something special, I ain't just a vessel. I found your word was my way to heal. Now I'm outside trying to spread the message. The devil dripping, he been causing wreckage. My testimony went from declining to the upper hand, finally gave me leverage. What I felt was a stretch, it led to agility. You were the balance, I needed stability. All the allure, spirit so pure, from Father to Son like the holiest Trinity. Open arms, I receive the blessings. In every lesson, hope to see progression. The more you lead me to community, the more I see a need for intercession. Gotta pray for him.
I'll be your temple, I'll be your sanctuary. You can come dwell here, won't you come and fill me? Jesus, have your way.
What's going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome back to the F.L.Y Show, where I am your host, Jasmine D. Milhouse. And in case you didn't know what the F.L.Y stands for, it stands for First Love You. And you know, we're back with a new season, second episode of the new season. So I'm excited about the lady boss that I have on tonight. If you have watched from the beginning, you already saw a glimpse of what she looking like. So you know she on some fly stuff, right? But before I get into her bio and before I bring her on here with me, make sure you like, tag, and share. Let me know where you're watching from. Tag you somebody in these comments. Get them on this live because y'all know I like to come with these phenomenal people that some may know, but some may not know. So it is just my way of just bringing so many in industry professionals, getting to know their story, getting to know their journey. And tonight is nothing different. So without all that being said, I am talking to Miss C.G. Sumlin Jackson on tonight. I've known CG for since school. So, knee high to a duck, all that other country stuff that we like to say, I've known her just that long. All right. So just to get into her bio a little bit before I bring her on, C.G. Sumlin Jackson is an entrepreneur, author, and workshop facilitator with over a decade of experience in sales and marketing, and a certified behavior analyst trainer with Maxwell Leadership. CG is a proud graduate of Columbus State University and the owner of Rich Marketing Systems, a digital marketing agency that focuses on elevating entrepreneurs and teams holistically. Rich helps its clients reach their ultimate desires by creatively integrating lifestyle, professional coaching, and premium services into deliverable marketing products and systems. She is working on her next book called Ready for Hire, a preparation guide for solo entrepreneurs looking to accelerate their business growth with a dynamic team. She currently resides in the great city of Columbus, Georgia, and she is a proud mother of two. So after saying all of that, I mean, just go ahead and bring her on up here since we talked about it so much. But how are you doing?
Hey, Jazz, I'm doing good. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well, ma'am. I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to this interview.
So am I.
Looking forward to it. So Hey Miss Ilyasa, thank you so much for joining me on tonight. I don't like to prolong. I like to go ahead and get it in and get down with it. So my first question, always for anyone that's on my show, my first question is, how do you define who CG is?
Oh, you coming out the gate swinging, right? Okay, so how do I define who CG is?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm, great question. So, hmm, are you asking who is CG?
However you define who you are, whatever that looks like for you, and what I like to say, even if you're in a space to where you're beginning to know and develop who you are for
Mm-hmm,
in this new season,
mm-hmm.
what does that look like for you? Who do you look like right now?
Right. So I would define CG as a self-aware, forward-thinking leader in life and business, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So what has been your main driving force and mindset in becoming an entrepreneur?
Um, it's something that being an entrepreneur is something that I always just I don't want to say dream, but I just always knew I would be. Um, going back to I always just love to make my own money for one. Like I just always loved it. Even if I didn't even know what the word was, but funny you asked me that question because I do now specifically remember being younger and my dad got the dictionary for me and my brother and he was like, I want y'all to go look up this word and it was like entrepreneur. It's like that's what you want to be. That's what you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was young then, you know how your parents just be talking.
Yeah.
But even throughout, I have, like I always just knew I would be an entrepreneur in some sense of whatever. And even when that looked different, whether it was insurance, hair,
Mm-hmm.
marketing, coaching, whatever, it's always gonna end up with me being in control of my own little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so looking over your journey, even as a childhood into becoming an entrepreneur, what would you say interrupted your path? You know how some people grow up and say, I just want to go to college, get me a job, da 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 da, and be okay with that. But what would you say interrupted that mindset of you knowing, okay, no, that's not my path. I want to go take a dive into entrepreneurship. What would you say caused you to develop that thought?
Right. So honestly speaking, I always saw myself as being an entrepreneur. I never really saw myself as being anything else. Like even like you know how we would have the senior books and
Mm-hmm.
I predicted. I was saying I was gonna be my own boss then. Like I never thought of like a dream job.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a week or so, I thought I was gonna be a nurse in college, right?
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna be a nurse, which you could be an entrepreneur as a nurse.
okay.
But when I started thinking like I don't like blood, I don't like to touch people. I really don't like for people to touch me. I was like, yeah, that's probably not gonna be the best thing for me. So I changed. You know how when you get in college, you know,
Your whole mindset.
everything you want to be everything.
You know
So that
what?
lasted for about a week until
Mhm.
like we had like a biology class or something, and I'm like, yeah, ain't
This is not the
this
move.
is not for
This
me.
is not it. Was it a specific form of or specific niche that you wanted to be in as an entrepreneur?
No, I did. No, and honestly, Jazz, I probably okay. So I went to Columbus State for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know what, like
Yeah.
I didn't know what, but I knew I was gonna
Yeah.
have a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at. I had my daughter. I have two girls, So Elena was born my senior year in college. And
Okay.
yeah, like I thought it was gonna be hard. Well, I don't know what I thought, but it was so much better than I expected. Like
Mhm.
we had so much support or whatever. So I didn't miss a beat. And I thank God for that, because I know people that one thing would have changed their whole entire life. Like
True.
I went to class I went to class, say on a Tuesday, on Wednesday Elena was born, and then I went back to school. Like it was just like I was going to school the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was telling my professor, I'm not gonna be able to come to class tomorrow. And he was like, why? I said, because I'm having my baby. And he was like, well, yeah, that's a good reason. So I'm saying all that to say, I was working at Outback Steakhouse as a college student, continued to work there as a new mom, and it just wasn't cutting it. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't where I thought it was. It was a pretty decent job. I was able to pay my bills and all that stuff like that. But it was just different as I was a mom.
Right.
I worked every holiday, every weekend. And so I just remember this one Sunday being so like
over it.
Oh, yeah. That's over it. I was so
over it.
Right? But of course, just me being me, no one could tell, but I was like literally over it. And I had a couple sit at my table, and this woman was on the Atkins diet at this time.
Okay.
And before you could look up everything in your phone, she had an Atkins diet book with like the point. It may not be, it may be Weight Watchers. I forgot the diet. But she had the book. And so we're like going through the book trying to find something that matches her diet on the menu.
Okay. Right.
I'm literally just being me. So she was like, do you like what you do? You help. She was just so impressed with the service.
Right.
And of course I was supposed to say, yes, I love it here, right? Well, she was like, well, if you want to try anything else, give me a call. And it was she had an athlete card. I didn't call her then, but probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, I just randomly called because, again, I was over it.
Yeah.
And long story short, I was introduced to selling insurance. And so when you were asking like the certain niche, I would say sales. Sales became something that I've done and I will always do, and I encourage everyone to do. Actually, like it's been the best rewarding career that I could even think of, for real.
Right. And so when just looking over everything in your life, if you can think of any challenges that you may have had that may have caused you to, I guess have fear or be scared or have doubt or anxiety or whatever the case may be, what did you do to help you overcome those feelings?
Girl, that's every day. Like still to this day. Like I'm the person that even if I'm always afraid to do something, or it's not that I don't fear. I just don't let it stop me. I can't think of a day that I'm not fearful or something. Yeah. Or I can't think of a day that I don't feel anxiety. Even before we jumped on, I'm like, girl, I've had a whole week. That's my typical life. Like my life is always full. It's always full. But then on the other end, I'm like, I thank God, because I'm like, I remember times when my calendar was not full. I didn't have things that I've asked for. I believe, when you act like I cannot complain about a full plate when I was praying to be able to feed my family and eat. So one bite, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's how I get through every situation and every day, just one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. Let me get through this interview session here, and then I'll move on to the next thing. I don't try to multitask and put so many things on my plate at once, because that's where stress and anxiety come in. I don't believe in multitasking. I like to be present wherever I am. I learn to be present right then in that moment. And then when I am finished, I move on to the next thing.
So, okay, you said something so powerful right in and key that's important. When you're present in that moment, is that in business or is that in everything that you have your hands in?
I intentionally, I intend for it to be all across the board for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, across the board. Even
Yeah.
and that's why I like like I love a calendar. I love a checklist because if you think about Google Calendar, which I love,
Yeah.
like you can't overlap. Like it won't even let you, and that's how our brains work. It won't
Yeah.
even let you stack. I can't say I'm gonna be on this call with you and driving to, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, wait, are you busy during this time or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like you literally have to check the box, busy or not. So
Right.
that's why anytime I have felt overwhelmed, stressed, and other words that I hear people using, it's because I just put too much on my plate. Or I've allowed other people to put too many things on my plate.
So what made you get to the point to where you stop allowing people to fill you up or to load you up with stuff?
What made me stop? I would say, what made me stop. Specifically, I remember when, I guess a few years ago, like when I became a single mom, start living in that world. You can have, I felt like a lot of people were like judging me, like, oh, you're the mom, you should be doing this. You're the mom, you should be doing that. And I cut all that out. Like I cut all of that out because I just stopped caring about, like, I literally do not care. Like that's the only, I can't even say I stopped. I never really started for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in my opinion, when, and not to, no disrespect or, not to be offensive to anyone, but when I care more about you to the point to where I'm burning out, that's problematic, because if I'm giving you everything that's inside of me, what am I giving to my girls? What am I giving to my kids? And it makes it hard for you to be fully focused and all in on whatever you're doing. It makes everything that much more harder, so you can't give it your all. You can't give it your full attention, so I definitely agree with that. I'm still, now that's something that I'm still working on, with, no, I can't do that. No, we're not going to do this. No is becoming a very beautiful part of my vocabulary because at one point it wasn't, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
So,
and being, are you familiar with Brene Brown?
No.
So if I had to say someone help me, it would be her. She is a vulnerability coach or something like that. I don't know what her title is, but she's good. And she talks about like having hard conversations because honestly, that's not my strength. Like I don't like confrontation. But if need be, we can. That kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my first go-to. Like I will even so to where I may even remove myself so it's not even a thing. Which I found is not the best thing either. So yeah.
Yeah. Because it leaves stuff unresolved.
Right.
And while I'm leaving. Yeah.
Yeah. So not saying that was the right thing or, whatever I was doing was right either. But Brene Brown, she has so many different like books and lessons about the word vulnerability. You gotta.
I'm gonna have to look her up. I'm surprised I've not heard of her. I'm gonna have to look her up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so in with the shift of everything, becoming a single mom, what made you realize that your purpose was a lot deeper than what you originally thought it was?
Okay, so that's a funny question. So in the beginning of our conversation, I was like, I always just knew. So it wasn't that. It's like I forgot about my purpose. So I went from, oh yeah, like college student, making good grade. I'm doing all the things that I was supposed to do.
Right.
And I'm a college student with a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, now that you're a mom, you gotta bring it down a notch. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just not working for me. It was torture. So it was torture. So actually, so by the time my second daughter was born, I always say when she was born, it's like another me was reborn also. It's like I drew the line, like I can't keep doing this. I cannot.
Yeah.
So I can't say I forgot, or I felt like I kind of felt like I was doing my kids justice by just being mom, but that wasn't me, and that's not all I was. Was just their mom.
Right.
I couldn't just only be their mom.
Right. And see, just being a mom in itself holds a whole lot more value than just like you just said, just me. Okay, I'm your mama. I'm a whole lot more than that. A whole lot more. I'm your counselor. I'm your nurse. I'm your friend at some points. I'm your advisor. I'm the one that's going to be showing you. I'm the example for you to see. Okay, you ain't gonna always have it figured out. You're not gonna always get it right. Things are not gonna go the way that you planned it. But I'm also the one that shows you how to bounce back in those moments. I'm the one that shows you how to keep your head focused, how to keep your attention, how to stay on your journey, how to stay on your path, and how to stay true to yourself, even in the moments when it's hard. That's, part of what I am, amongst so much other stuff, and go ahead. Because you were like,
I was about to say, so I feel like I had, okay, so Aubrey she's about to be 10 next month. Aubrey was about, I was talking to someone just like I'm talking to you. And I was just like, girl, yeah. So after I had my baby, I was sad. I said it just like that. Aubrey was like 4, something like that. Like she wasn't a baby anymore. And I was just in conversation like, girl, yeah, after I had Aubrey, girl, I was so sad. I was just, ooh. And then I was like, girl, that was postpartum depression. Like I didn't even connect that. I had wrote a book about it, everything, girl. I didn't even connect the dots because the word depression was so far from what I would describe myself as or what I had, like what you see on TV and stuff like that. Like was not me. Like I just in my eyes looked like depression. But that's exactly what it was. And circling back, I ended up writing a book, and I always say I feel like when everybody, I was kind of like ahead of the times when it came to like the self-care type thing, and I think it goes back to being in sales. They always push personal development. Like if you're in any kind of sales, MLMs, anything like that, they're gonna tell you like
that's the number one thing.
Right. So I was seeing all these successful people, and I was just kind of mimicking what I was seeing them doing. They were working out, they were journaling, they were listening to books. So I was really just doing what I was seeing the people that I worked with do. And kind of living in two worlds because I worked with this group of people, but then that wasn't what my peers were doing. And so ended up writing a book about it. And some people, it was kind of like controversial a little bit because I was saying things like, you know, you can't be everything for your kid. You know, I was kind of saying things that wasn't typical for a mom to say. And I even had people saying like, girl, your kid, like, you know, like, oh, real? Like, you gonna say that? And I'm like, well, that's the truth. And then years later, like
It's relevant.
just keep on living.
Yeah.
They're like, girl, you were right.
It's relevant. Everything that I said is relevant.
I was ahead, and it kind of like, they were like, who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
Say that. But then years fast forward, they're like, yeah,
I get it. I get it. Yeah, because you can't be and I was doing an interview with Yolanda King. You know Yolanda, right? So I was doing an interview with her, and I listened, honey. I made the mistake and said, but above anything else, before I'm anything, I'm a mama. And she said, "Ha, wait a minute, no ma'am. Above anything else, you're you. You're not." She said, "Your kids are after, you, especially being a single parent, being, and it's just you. You have to make sure you are fully taking care of you in whatever capacity that looks like before you're able to fully show up for your kids. Because when you lack on you, you're lacking on them. Someone is going to miss something, So you got to make sure that self-care, that personal development, listening to an audiobook, doing your journaling, going to therapy, doing some meditation, going for a walk, going to the gym, whatever that looks like for you, whatever floats your boat. And what I also like to take a look at it as, your hobby can be a form of your self-care, because you're fully, it's like you're relaxed, you're enjoying something that you like to do. It's not work related, it's something fun. It could be knitting, bowling, basketball, watching a movie, going for a long drive. That can be a form of self-care as well. That's what I like to take a look. I like to go for a walk. I like to watch movies. I like to cook. That's when I'm in the kitchen, listen, I be in there thinking I'm on Iron Chef America.
Okay.
I get that chopping peppers. They like, you don't want to do it these way. No, let me chop it. That's my time. That's my zone moment, and I'm in there and I'm focused. Baby, you can't tell me I didn't go to Le Cordon Bleu, if I'm in the kitchen, because that's what I love to do. That's my me time. That's my self-care. That is my moment for me to relax and just let my day go, and just be in that moment. So what are some things that you like to do in your self-care time?
What do I like to do? Sometimes nothing. Like, I think one of my favorite things to do is nothing. That's funny.
Yeah.
But for real, I like to write. I guess you would call it journaling or just doodling kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love a good, date night, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Date night with my friend, just hanging out.
Yeah.
I really just like an experience for real. Like no certain thing. Like, hey, girl, I love to go on Groupon and like find something. Like, oh, they got a painting silk or a painting.
Listen.
Like the other day, me and Vaughn, my friend Vaughn, we always like we've been friends forever. But we make it a point, and I guess that is our kind of self-care thing. When you get an adult, when you become an adult, you have to schedule time for things like that. So we made about a couple of years ago that every 3 months we will go somewhere or do something. So we will meet, girl. We'll meet up just to go eat lunch and drink a margarita and be like, all right, see you later. or take a trip,
Yeah.
day and a half, and come back or whatever. But definitely just really just experiencing like something new.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's all about living right there. You
Mhm.
know, that's living to me because it's not the world is so much bigger than your living room. It's so much bigger than your house. It's so much bigger than your vehicle, than your job or the grocery store or your city. It's bigger than that. So many people don't even know what the next city look like. So many people don't know what the next state look like. And sometimes the next state ain't but an hour drive away.
Right.
Get in your car, gas it up, and go do something, even if it's for a couple hours, and then just come back home. Make
Yes.
a make a bucket list
Don't make
of
it complicated.
right.
Yes. Yes.
Simplify it. Make a bucket list of simple things that you can do that is outside of the norm. And just live and just take that step. Don't let fear, what you said earlier, don't let the fear stop you from living your life. Don't let fear stop you from being who you're meant to be, because you're not meant to just sit here in this one area. And for you, with going through your journey, becoming who you are, how hard has it been to maintain your identity of CG?
Ooh, girl. That's that's an amazing question. How hard has it
Mhm.
been? um, Easy and hard. Like I feel like the more I discover my identity, the easier life becomes.
Mhm.
But it's hard to accept that I'm becoming also.
Ooh.
Like learn
Why do you say it's hard?
because you're gonna have to let go a lot of things. A lot of things you've learned. You have to. It's really more about unlearning more than it is about learning.
Yeah.
You know why you don't know why you do it like that. Why do you say that? Why do like all the
Mhm.
things you've been doing for as long as you've been on this earth? Like why?
Right.
Everything you do is because you learned it from somewhere.
Right. Right.
So in this season, I realized like in my becoming, I'm unlearning more than I'm learning.
Mm. But that's also still learning though.
I'm
If you
learning
think,
that
yeah,
the way I was
whatever I thought was not the
what I
way.
thought, yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
that
it.
worked. It worked for that time, or it was. I was taught what they learned. I was taught what they were shown, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was right. And sometimes that let go of what you've been holding on to for the past 30 some odd years, or whatever the case may be, it makes it's hard, because it's like, that's who I am.
Hmm.
But in all actuality, it's not who you are. That's who you were. And discovering the newness, or walking into my actual purpose, that's a that's a
Yeah,
you know.
it's who I was and who I needed to be at that time.
Yeah.
But you know, different seasons have different reasons to be something else too.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely, because you can't take what you did when you were 20 into who you are at 35, or however old you are. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It
yeah,
ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so with that, what does maintaining life and business look like for you on a daily?
Girl, what maintaining? Let's talk about what does that mean? First of all, wait, let's
Let's start there.
what does that mean? Every day is a day in itself. Like I don't claim to be like the pro of maintaining nothing.
Right.
That ain't even, girl. Sometimes it's so crazy over here. Girl, I'm trying to see what's the answer to this question. I would just say, like I said earlier, taking it one day at a time, planning, but also being flexible because things change. Having the right people on your team, and that's in life and in business. I highly advocate for that, having a team, because like I said, even though I'm a single mom, I'm a supported mom. Like I have a amazing support system. I'm a solo entrepreneur, but I have team members, you know, so I don't do anything alone. I could never say that. So sometimes when I can't, somebody else can. So that's how I can maintain or keep going and know that I don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. That village is everything, right?
Girl, yeah, amazing.
Listen.
And I think that was just something that it's like one of those things, like you don't want to, like my village, like even like my mom, I'm not gonna act, it's like, I don't know how she know, I guess it's just like a mom thing. Like she'll just come up, like, I'm gonna pick the girls up from school, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, how did she know I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna go pick them up and be on this call at the same time? So, and like I said, it's not even like a guilt or a shame. Like nobody is like, girl, I just picked them kids. I just, it's nothing like that. I can honestly say I have the people around me love it. Friends, family, all of that. I can't say that they're not needed.
Yeah. So transitioning into, since we're on the subject of maintaining in business and maintaining in life, Rich Marketing Systems, this digital marketing agency, what was that development process like for you, and what exactly does Rich Marketing do? What is that?
Okay. So Rich Marketing System was developed for people like me. Like going back a few years ago, I remember this day specifically. This was before it was even a Rich Marketing System. It was, I was just figuring it business out, right? But I had a friend, and it was around Christmas time. And she was so stressed out, like, needing to buy Christmas gifts, but also I got to be here with my kids. So it was ways that she was like, do I work more or do I be a mama? And like she had to literally choose. And I remember being in Aldi. That's one of my favorite grocery stores. Like, so like I had her in my ear, had headphones. It was back when you had to plug it in the phone. So I had her in my ear and I'm listening to her and I'm just like, dang, I want to be able to help. Like, because I'm like, she's so talented. She can do so many things. But, so like she's talking to me and I don't want to make it about me, but I'm really about to cry because I'm like, why do moms have to choose between work
and their children?
Why? Like, why? And so after that, it just became a mission of like, I had kind of, I fell in love with working online, creating things, making a business out of it. And although I was still figuring out the business aspect of it, like all the, the back end part of it, I knew how to I knew how to monetize stuff. I knew how to do specific things, right? And those were the things that people were asking me to do. The things people were struggling with, that back end part of it, I knew how to do. So that's how it became a business. Like scheduling, like scheduling things, creating sales funnels, and all that. Like that's like a combination of just stuff that I just love to do anyway. Like I love to plan out stuff. I love to write. I love to schedule things, all that. So I really just looked at what I could do. I looked at what I could help. I looked at what business people around me. And another thing, Jasmine, that actually, so after that, the day in Aldi, I came across an article that said Black women that year were the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. However, we were the fastest failing also. And I didn't like that. So we were the number one, we were the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, but we were also failing at the same rate. And the reason was because no systems, no structure, no team, that foundation just wasn't there.
Help. Right.
No, all of those things. So I could relate so much to that. Just like I said, helping reach marketing systems was for me first, and then other people just started saying, "Can you help me too?" So we work with entrepreneurs, primarily female, but my target audience honestly is women, but I understand. I specifically my language is for female-led companies, but we definitely cater to all kind of teams and organizations through creating business systems and automation.
I love it. I'm here for it. You hear me? So have you ever, and this question is a little unorthodox, and if you choose not to answer, that's fine. Business wise, have you ever encountered a potential client that you realized was just not for you?
Oh, several times. Several times as a prospect and several times as a client. I've had to refund people because they were not. And that's another thing too, because that is a whole nother growth marker, because I remember a time I was not able to refund the money because I'm like, I need this like
money. I need this money, right?
You know what I'm saying? But with time and, like I said, learning that other side, using resources, other people's strength, because that business accounting bookkeeping side is just not my thing, honestly. So I have somebody that helped me with that, like pricing and all of that stuff. Like, girl, I just want to create. Like, I just want to let me set up this.
You do this part and let me do this.
Right. And that's what I mean by like having people to do what they do and not trying to do everything. But yes, girl, several times, and like I said, Rich Marketing Systems is this today. But I've been doing digital marketing for about 10 years now, and my business has transitioned several times over the course of 10 years. Even to now, like transitioning from only done for you services to now my business is primarily geared to training and coaching.
Okay,
then. Yeah. So I'm never afraid to get started, because wherever you start, you probably won't, you just got to get started to see. And
Right.
you can map it out. I'm a planner. I love to plan. I
Mhm.
love to write. But until you get in there
Mhm.
and get your feet and your hands and everything else dirty, you won't know what's not going
Mhm.
to work. So sometimes you can plan
That is
yourself
true.
out of a good thing by not getting started.
Yikes.
Like sitting there thinking like, who is my ideal? Like I know you got, I get it, but sometimes you don't even know who you're thinking is your ideal client doesn't even match your
Is not.
product because
Nope.
you haven't even you won't know that until you let this person test out your product or service and it doesn't work.
Right.
Like you just
Right.
gotta fail. And that's been my thing. If I could say anything, I'm like fail faster. Like I don't
Mm.
mind failing. That's one thing I'm just not afraid of.
Right.
I don't care about looking crazy. I don't care if nobody understands. Because every time I look crazy or to other people,
Mhm.
they always circle back and ask
Mhm.
me how.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, so many people, and it sounds crazy, but a lot of people want to know how did you fail? Because sometimes
So
they
they
take that
don't
as
have to.
learning stuff, so they'll know what not to do. What
But
did you
it's
do
not.
right here? But it's not the same. But you still gotta test it for yourself though, because what may have failed on my end may not doesn't mean that it'll fail for you. It could be something that you can utilize that can help you transition to where you're trying to go. But again, like you said, if you don't move your feet, you'll never know. You're not gonna learn. You're not gonna understand. You're not gonna know that because you're not willing to do the work. So you gotta be willing to get in here and grind and get these elbows working, get these joints to going, get this train rolling in order for you to know what is your lane.
Yes.
You
And
don't know where
one
your lane is if you ain't driving.
right. So let me go back just a little bit because I think you asked me this question earlier, like something that helped me. And the one thing that
Mhm.
specifically helped me learn like what my thing was
Mhm.
um the DISC assessment. Are you familiar with the DISC assessment, the behavior analysis
Mhm.
assessment?
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah.
that let me tell you, that is I can't even stress how much that helped me because
Right.
I really just felt crazy, like literally crazy, like just this super creative person that I didn't know how to package it. I didn't know how to because what I've learned is just creativity alone is not a business. So
Mhm.
what the
Mhm.
assessment does is it defines your communication style, your learning style, even your roadblocks, and that's what
Mhm.
helped me most was learning what I don't do well, right?
Mhm.
And so um it's some things I was like, oh yeah, everything really. It was like reading a Bible about myself.
Mm.
Um so I took that, like I still have it in like a 3-ring binder. And when
Mhm.
I have coaching clients, that's the number one, that's the first thing we do. But I applied it because that roadblock part is the part that I didn't end up outsourcing. Like I
Yeah.
said, the
Yeah.
bookkeeping, the accounting, all that, because I didn't know nothing about it. Like, it's only so
Right.
much stuff on YouTube and Google. I was doing that, but it still wasn't working, right?
Right.
Um, but learning it makes you more self-aware.
Mhm.
That assessment made me more self-aware.
I like that. I like that. And through all of that, who has been your biggest mentor or mentors?
Yeah, girl, I have so many. Um, the thing about it is anybody can be my mentor because I learn from anybody. I can
Mhm.
learn something from even if it's like not even if it's what not to do. But if I had to say mentor, when I think about a mentor, I would say one of my friends, I call her Sweet. We used to work together in insurance years ago at AIG. And she was in management. I was an agent. I would just watch her because in insurance, in the office I worked with, it wasn't a lot of brown girls. Actually, me and her were. And when you talk about black girl magic, she was it. Like when she walked in there, people noticed her. Like she commanded attention. Like it was just something. And then over time, we ended up having the same birthday. Like so many things. Anyway, it's been almost like 13 years ago. But still today, even though she's retired, I don't work there anymore, whatever. We actually ended up getting laid off from the company. But yeah, definitely Sweet. I call her Sweet. And who else would I say is a direct mentor? Girl, people on podcasts, because that's what my life, like, I wake up and go to sleep to a podcast. I know I'm leaving out a lot of people, but that was just right off the top.
Of one that you can think of. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I know.
Oh no, no, but and that is no right or wrong number. It's just sometimes it is who you think of in the moment, or you already have your top 5, ready to go.
And they like, what about me? Like, I'm sorry. It's just not in my head right now. No disrespect. Yeah, but if I can't really say, I'm like, really anybody as far as like a mentorship, I'll listen. I don't mind listening. I don't have an ego. I don't mind asking questions. Looking at if I like how you're doing something, I'm gonna ask. If you want to tell me something, not saying I'm going to agree, but I'll listen.
Really. That's the key. Cause you gotta what I used to hear is you gotta eat the meat and spit out the bones. Yes. Take what I can use and whatever I can't use that's not for me, just okay, I thank you for giving me what I was able to, receive or attain. I'm gonna go utilize that in some area in my life. But whatever I can't, I just can't, and that's just that. Yeah. So I like that because there's always and that's even as an adult, a child can come and teach you something.
Yeah,
you can learn from your kids, and you be like, I ain't even know. Come, how you do it? Listen, it can happen. It can happen. And so, coming towards another interview, 2 more questions for you. Okay. 1. How can everyone follow you on social media? What do you got coming up? What are you working on? All of that good, juicy stuff.
Okay. So you can follow me, Facebook, Instagram. Website is cg.co. name.co. Working on my book, my second book, Ready for Hire, like you said. Gonna start around August. It'll be ready for pre-sale, pre-luncheon, or all that kind of stuff. So really just working on helping entrepreneurs and small businesses get this thing going and reduce the amount of making doing business easier online. That's my overall goal. Like I want to take away the headache, or business comes with headaches, but to just not say you're not going to do business online at all because I don't do technology, all those limiting beliefs and things that people have associated with doing business online, marketing their business online. like I want to help people. I literally want to help people with that. Like when people say, girl, I don't like social media, or I don't know nothing about no email marketing. And, you know, when people say things like that, that my skin crawls. And they say when you do things that you love, you're never working a day in your life. Like these are, like I'll start geeking out when I start talking about some sales funnels, girl. I will talk about a sales funnel just randomly. So
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all just reach out. I will help you. I will help you.
And in my final question, from all of your learned failures, all of the wisdom that you've gained in business and in life, what would be one piece of advice you would give someone that is in the process of discovering their new journey?
Keep going. You are like, I don't think that ever stops. Like, just keep going.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
She said, "That's it. That's all. What else you want me to say? what you want me to say? Don't give up. Keep it
You
moving."
better not. You better not give up. Like, I mean, the thing about it is, if you want something, you got to decide. Like, is it, because if you stop, nothing ain't gonna change just because you stop. Like, it had to be a reason why you were wanting this change.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I realized I'm not into, like, I ain't into motivating nobody. I ain't into dragging nobody along. But if you want it, you will figure it out. That's for real.
So
If
you
you
ain't
want
that
something,
let
you
me hold your hand, coach.
will. Nope, not.
Right.
Not.
CG. If you gonna do this, you gonna do this. If you don't, I'm not
You
wasting my
want to do
time.
this? That's the question. Do you want to do this? Because well, if you don't want to do it, let's just not. Let's just stop here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
Because
down the
you
line, if it
really
gets to
about
the
a
point where,
decision.
yeah, 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 make a decision and stick with it, no matter how
Because
hard it
I listen,
gets.
like, oh, I'm sorry. I think the let's
Go
see,
ahead.
over.
It's a
But like
delay. Yeah.
I listen to, and that's why I love a good story. Like the latest story on the movie about the hot Cheeto guy on Hulu. Have you watched that one?
Mm-hmm. I have
The,
not yet. It's on my watch list. Yeah.
oh, I love stories like that. So when I look at
Mm-hmm.
all the things, like people that have done things, right? Nobody has done something without like a big story. Like everybody had to overcome something. It's just like, what you gonna do about it?
Right.
Nobody is without something. And
Yeah.
yeah, no matter how they may look on the outside, like I'm sitting here, like I said, I'm sitting here now.
Yeah.
But I got some stuff that, yeah, I got some stuff. But I'm still,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not gonna let nothing stop me. You shouldn't let nobody stop you. You know, that's what I would say to them.
Yeah.
If you want this, don't let anything stop you.
Yeah. I agree 100%. 100% wholeheartedly. And with that being said, that was my last and final question. Because we are coming up on an hour and it don't even seem like it. That went by a little quick. So I want to thank you for amongst everything that you got going on, amongst your busy schedule, carving out this time just to sit here on the Fly Show and let me dig in your brain just a little bit and just, tell us more about, your company, your business, your journey, what you got coming up. Thank you so much for just being here. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. It was so light and so, it flowed so well. So thank you so much for being on the Fly Show. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I definitely enjoyed.
You are so welcome. So, with that being said, y'all, this has been yours truly, Jasmine D. Milhouse, and my special guest, Miss C.G. Somlin Jackson, the CEO and founder of Rich Marketing Systems, a digital marketing agency that is out here changing the game for female entrepreneurs of any business that you have. If you are looking for a marketing coach, if you're looking for someone that does funnels, scheduling, VA, and all of that stuff, make sure you reach out to Rich Marketing Systems. Talk to my girl, Miss CG. Go to her website, cg.co. That's it, right? And make sure you book a scheduling call with her. Don't take too long now. I'll go ahead and get it done because she is out here changing the game. All right. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much again for tuning into the Fly Show. You can catch me back here next week, same place, same time. You all enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
I'll be your temple. I'll be your sanctuary. You can come dwell here. Won't you come and fill me? Jesus, have your way. Jesus, have your way. I got it made. I got it made. You never delay. You came and you paid, so